obviously we're bouncing around a little bit with what we're able to do, what we're not able to do. Give us an update on kind of where we're at right now. Welcome everyone to the Jimmy and Kyle show. Jimmy, it's a brand new week. What's going on?
Well, it seems like the same old week, but it is a brand new week. And I got to tell you, I think I have, like I've told a lot of the kids, I've tried to do some new things during this pandemic. And this week, I got to tell you, I learned to cook. I went down to this place that you probably never heard of. It's called Bed Bath & Beyond. It's a store that has a whole bunch of stuff in it. I went in there and bought what's called a magic bullet. And I began to cook smoothies. They're pretty tasty too. Yeah, a little bit of coconut water, Zoe, that white stuff. What is that called?
Yogurt.
Yogurt. I put yogurt in there. Frozen berries, and a little bit of orange juice. And my oh my, are they pretty good? So I think it's just important for all our kids and people out there listening that we always strive to be better. Try to do something new every week. And this week is my cooking, and my wife's been quite impressed. She had a part of the smoothie, thought it tasted too much like yogurt, but besides that, it's gone pretty good. And I found it in a store called Bed Bath & Beyond. It's got curtains, sheets. It's got all sorts of stuff in there.
Yeah.
So, hey, you learn something new every day.
You never
stop learning. You just never stop learning. So anyway, it's kind of cool. And now that I'm a cook, I might do a cooking class for everybody soon.
Please don't. Please don't.
You know, the first thing I try to learn to cook would be teriyaki. Everybody knows I like that. So I'm kind of strict on what I eat. And I do like a bit of teriyaki. So I might try to do that in the magic bullet. Magic teriyaki. There you go.
I do remember the last time you tried to cook, and that was on your grill. And you bought lava over the grill.
Yeah, I'm not much of a barbecuer, but you know what? I try. So that's part of the battle. Being able to try new things and do new things, just like everybody during this time is doing. You know, I went out and screwed a few screws into my fence. I did that. I've been cutting the grass and on a regular basis. So
it's
all going pretty good. I'm setting myself up for my future life. I might be a handyman.
There you go. You are the Renaissance man.
I kind of fancy myself at that stuff, you know.
Very good.
So anyway, all going good.
Good. So obviously we're bouncing around a little bit with what we're able to do, what we're not able to do. Give us an update on kind of where we're at right now for at least this week.
I can tell you what we can do and what we can't do. I can tell you what we can do is we can make the best out of this situation. We're allowed right now to train 3 versus 3. Why they came up with that, I don't know. Sometimes when you make a tight space and it's 3 versus 3, it can be as hectic as a regular game of 11 versus 11. And, you know, I watched the kids play the last couple weekends, and if you can isolate how many times they're standing 2 yards from each other in a full-size game is few and far between. Yeah. It's like I told somebody the other day, remember the old game Operation you used to play where you stick those and it'd be nice to stick a headband on the kid and actually record how many times they're within 2 yards or something, and you could buzz them and then they could move away.
And to be clear, you're not talking about shocking the kids.
No, I'm not, right? But I'm saying I like that game Operation. But maybe it could make a little ring on their headband and they could get away from the kid, and then it would allow you to record how many times. Our film guys have done a fantastic job out there filming games, and I asked them, it would be awesome to break down the film, not how many touches your son or daughter had or how many goals your daughter or son had, but actually see how many times they're standing 2 yards from an opponent at any given time. I think, you know, when you analyze a game of soccer and they say, how much do you have the ball out of 22 kids? I can't remember, but it's like 2.5 minutes you're touching the ball in the entire game. Yeah. The rest of the game, you're working off the ball. So I would say it'd be something close to that. But anyway, on the 3v3,
they actually did study on that contact stuff over in Holland, and they did it obviously on the pro leagues, but on the pro leagues, including all the corner kicks and set pieces and things like that, where you actually have walls and a lot of people jumbled in a box. the average time people were within that distance was 33 seconds in an entire 90 plus extra time minute game.
Yeah, I
And
can
then
see that. I mean, unless
the corner kicks, it was like 16 seconds.
yeah, some positions are a little bit different if you're an old-fashioned post up forward or something. But anyway, when you analyze the 3v3 and what you can do in different grids of the park, really in training, I don't think the under 13s have to be affected at all. The little guys, they're teams of they play 9v9 or 7v7, and you only have 12 on a roster, so you don't have games of 12v12 or 11v11 or 10v10. You don't even have that. So when you generally look, it affects the older kids. And a lot of the training I always used to do was 3v3 plus 2 or 3v3 plus goalkeepers in a protected grid, that the only thing they have in common is the soccer ball. So if you can't go into the goalkeeper's grid, but you can still shoot, it's no different than a shooting drill. They're not actually part of the physical contact. So, I think 3v3 plus 2, all these kind of things we can do and do them well. You can do protected flank areas, so on and so forth. And I think it's not playing at the end of training a 6v6, 9v9,
Right.
whatever numbers you have game, but it's really close. Where we're at now is obviously with the 75, we're at 90 some or whatever it is right now. And I don't look at the numbers every day. But we can do things that are close to the game itself. The only thing we can't do when we're over the numbers, play games.
Right.
And, I think, again, so you have to focus on what you can do. You can't always focus on what you can't do. So I think that our guys through Chersky and through you and through Rich have to, take the curriculum, work on different things in training. Like I said, I don't think besides the games, the young kids are affected at all, because when you break down a 7v7 team, they only have nine on the roster, so they can't play much more than 4v4, 5v5, 3v3, whatever. The older kids have to work on it and get their exercise in and get their fitness in. The other thing is, hopefully when this does break, that the kids need to be ready to go, whether that be high school, whether the younger ages would be league games or whatever. We are going to follow the rules. I know that I get letters from time to time of people not too happy about what the state's asking us to do or whatever else. But
Sure.
Please, I mean, we got to remind people that that's not our metrics. I know you and John Dresner, Kyle, have worked very hard with Schneider and the government, the state government, the governor's office to try to sort this out. But we have to live by the rules. And the problem is it's not a function of, I hear often that the numbers are arbitrary. Well, sure they are. We're aware the numbers are arbitrary, but that's the numbers we have to live with.
Yeah.
So instead of spending a lot of time worrying about what we can't do, I think our coaches, our management have to worry about what we can do and do that well. And if it's not enough, I understand that. And everybody needs to make their own decision what they want to do, whether we travel, whether we don't travel. These are all decisions that are coming down the road. And with our board and with our staff that's vastly experienced, I think we'll make the right decisions. And I don't think we'll be afraid to make decisions. We were the first one to make the decision not to go to Idaho for our girls' ECNL when everybody else thought it was fine. And through our medical advisory committee and obviously the lead, John Dresner, we opted not to go to Idaho. And the next week, the whole thing was shut down. So
Yeah.
I think that we'll make the right decisions along the way when it comes time to make those decisions.
Well, and I think it's important to note, I mean, from a coaching standpoint, from a player standpoint, curriculum standpoint, what we're able to do right now in these modified guidelines is far better than what we were doing before with the groups of 5, no contact, social distancing. The fact that we can have brief momentary contact is what it says in the guidelines, and play up to 3v3s, which is what it says in the guidelines, is vastly improved. It opens up a lot of different things we can do in training. And especially, like you said, for the younger groups, there's a lot of times you're not playing 11v11 in a small box anyway. You're not playing 7v7 in this tiny little area. A lot of the situations are 2v3, 2v2, 3v3. So you can exploit those things and work on those tactical things within training. It brings in a little bit more tactical stuff in there as well. So I know for a coach, or as a coach, it definitely opens up my ability to what I can work on and what I can do in training. And the kids are still enjoying the 3v3. Of course, we all wish we were playing games, but right now that's just not where we're at. And like you said, we're going to follow the rules and we're going to do what we're asked, but we're going to work hard to make sure that we're still achieving all those functional things that we can get out of training. That way, when it is time to go, we've worked on these things and we're ready to go.
Well, from a pure soccer standpoint, anybody that's ever played the game, for me, I think one of the big things in the game is being able to break down a defense 3v2, 2v1, and we spend a lot of time 3v2 to goal. I mean, we can still do those kind of things, getting wide, getting crosses in, making near post runs. All those kind of things are potential when you look at 3v3, because the game actually breaks down. It's never 10v10 in an area. It's 3v3, it's 3v2, it's 4v3. It's those kind of tactical situations that you have to be able to navigate. And the basis, the foundation that we've been working on for the last 3 months is the touch and the receiving and so on and so forth. I don't think we can underestimate that it's not the cup of tea for the kids. It can become repetitious. It can become boring. As a player, that's not necessarily what I'd want to do. When I used to walk out of the training ground when I was playing for the Sounders or whatever and saw 10,000 cones out there, I'd go, oh, here we go. Now, obviously, I'd rather see 2 goals and say, let's go play. But those are some of the things that are essential to having your foundation to being a decent player. The touch, the receiving, the angles of receiving, the being aware of where you're at when you're receiving the ball, your first touch. I would say, if I could say anything on the technical side of soccer, on the ball that's important is your first touch sets up everything. If you have a poor first touch, you can be able to juggle the ball a million times. But if you can't take a ball out of the air and get it under control quickly, and where you want to control it away from the defender or whatever else, you have no chance of playing at the top level. And that's when, they talk about the game's faster at a level. Well, the game's faster because the guys or girls that are playing it are more adequate on the ball. Their first touch is better, which allows them to play quicker. Because if you have to take 4 touches to get the ball under control, I don't care how physically fast you are, you're not a mentally fast player. And that's what I would, and this Monday, I don't know when this show comes out, but the Sounders scouts and the national scouts are going to be talking about what they're looking for in a player on the extra time on Monday night. I think it's critical that you have a good first touch anywhere in the game to be able to play at any high level. They're looking for guys and girls with good first touch. Yeah, and we have that foundation.
That show, just so everybody knows, every week of the weekly series, weekly speaker series, is up on our website as well. It takes a few days for us to get it up there because it's such a large file, but it'll be up on the SeattleUnited.com website later this week as well. So you can always watch that on record to see, what's going on if you can't catch it live on Monday. But like you're saying, in terms of the first touch, within the groups of 5, no contact, we couldn't put pressure on someone to have to take a better first touch. Now we are able to put in a bit of pressure there. So now your first touch is getting pushed a little bit more. Now your body positioning, your shape, your speed of thought, like you're talking about, all those things get pushed now, advance beyond what we were doing before. So we're still advancing and we're still building on what we were doing before. Now we're just able to add in some components that make it more game-like for sure.
Correct. And, like I said, if again, we can go over this ad nauseum. I played golf a couple of weeks ago at one of the local clubs around here, and I played against a gentleman that played for the University of Washington for 4 years. And he was at one stage a +3 handicap, which means to the layman in golf that you're a pretty good player. And I was talking to him afterwards, and he said, as a kid, he used to throw balls in the bunker and stand in the sand bunker for 8 hours in the day and just hit balls out of the bunker. I mean, that's how you become a good player. It's not your technical coach that spends an hour of a day with lessons for you of where to put your hands. Then you have to go out and bust balls on your own. You have to go watch what other people do, and you have to earn it yourself. There is no easy way to be great at anything. And generally speaking, people that are great at things are one-dimensional, and they're focused on what they want to be great at, and it takes that kind of time. And, I can remember as a kid, I would love to be out there by myself with the ball. Tommy Jenkins, who's a dear friend of mine, still goes to a park and works on his technique. He's 72 years old. He tells me he's at a park in Kent working on his technique. For what? I don't know. I mean, I don't know what kind of technique.
Bless your heart, Tommy.
But Tommy Jenkins goes out and works on his technique. And let me tell you, he was a great player. He had all the skill. He could run at people. He was dynamic. He played in what's now the Premiership for Southampton. But in the end of the day, Tommy still goes out and works on his touch. So that's kind of the craziness that it takes to be great at anything. And I can tell you, great swimmers, great golfers, great basketball players, they're all the same. They've worked at it. They've made
you see all these documentaries come out, on Kobe Bryant, on Michael Jordan, no matter who it is, Diego Maradona, and every one of them, they talk about the work they do outside of their organized trainings, right? Outside of team trainings, for kids these days, private trainings included, because you look at it and you say, okay, you've got, let's say you have an hour, 15-minute training right now, 3 times a week, like some of these Premier kids do. And so now you're looking at 3 hours and, 3 3/4 hour. Add in an hour private training a week, 4 3/4, round it off to 5 hours a week. You're never going to hit that kind of magic 10,000 hour rule that they talk about. Never. It's all that time you put in outside of it. Back at home in Texas.
Well, you'll hit that 10,000 hours, but you'll be like 29, 34 years old.
Yeah, you'll be Jimmy's age by the time
you'll be like me, and nobody will want you even at the
or you'll be like Tommy out there
at the Bed Bath and Beyond League. They won't want you there either,
Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure it's the same. I see kids all the time out at parks who have gone out there and they're just striking free kicks. They're striking balls. They're working on juggling. They're working on different moves. And those are the things, those are the times right there that are going to make you a bit better, especially in ball striking. For me, I didn't have somebody that necessarily taught me exactly how to strike a ball. It was the repetitiveness of striking a ball on my own that taught me what worked for me, because there's no one size fits all in terms of ball striking for people. There's a type of ball you want to be able to serve, but everybody's going to have a little bit different technique. And so going out and striking a ball over is how I honed that ability to strike a ball the way I did. And I'm sure it was the same for you and all these other guys and girls. But as much as I can encourage people to go out and work on their own, do it. And right now we don't have games on the weekends. We've got trainings on weekends, but we don't have games on weekends. Go out and work on your own if you can.
It's just like me. I figure if I do 3 smoothies a day for 5 years, I might get a call from Emerson Smoothie. They're out there. They need employees. Their minimum wage is $50 an hour. It might be a good deal for me, And it doesn't bother me. When you get old, you really don't want to chew on things too hard. So it's kind of a good food for me. It's like a superfood,
I heard they got a good retirement package there at Emerald City Smoothie.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, a little 401k. I could talk to people coming in. I probably enjoy myself, to be honest with it. Either be that or one of those field marshals on a golf course. So anyway, there's a lot of stuff you can do. I tell you, though, that right now I've heard that, from our president, Chris Tesson, that, swimming schools and swimming teams are oversold. You can't get in there. I mean, people are looking for things for their kids to do, and we're still open for people to come out and give us a try. I mean, literally in the younger ages and some of the older ages, I think we've signed 35 players this month, and you'd be absolutely shocked that we would do something like that. But right now, the kids go into their room, look on their computer, or sit with their mom or their father and sit on their computer all day. They're missing the physical activity. They're missing the bonding with their friends. There's a lot of stuff in there that they're missing. And a lot of the things that we can provide are there. And I think that, somebody told me the other day that, the longer this goes on, the more important that physical activity and being around your friends, even if it's for twice a week or 3 times a week for an hour, is better than nothing for the mental aspect of what's going on here.
Yeah.
And so I think we'll keep trying to provide a good product that's fair for everybody and keep working on it as this thing gets sorted out, which it will. It always does. It's just the time frame that it'll take. It kind of escapes the experts. But, like everything else, we'll get through this, and there'll be soccer again, and there'll be competitive games again, and that'll all come back. It's just a matter of how long, and hopefully that the other clubs can maintain and stay alive, so the kids have somewhere to go when when a vaccine or however this comes to its conclusion happens.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you guys know of people that are looking for a place to play or something to do, put them in touch with us. We're happy to help, happy to find spots for as many kids as we can. And like Jimmy said, we've signed, it's more than 35 at this point. I mean, I'm still every day where people that are coming out saying, hey, my kid, I just need something to do for him. We've got kids that, a year or two ago decided, what, we're going to take a break from this. We got a lot going on, that are now calling up saying, can we get back in? My kid right now, we need this right now. And you guys are doing such a great job of making sure the kids are safe and giving them activities and the mental part of it, like you said. So, let us know if you hear of friends, family friends that need something. But Jimmy, I got an important question for you too. What are you going to be for Halloween? I assume you still, trick or treat.
Halloween. Let me think. What am I going to be for Halloween? I haven't thought of that. I know my grandson's a blue Power Ranger or something. He showed me his outfit. Yeah. And my granddaughter, one of my granddaughters, is a little pumpkin. She's 9 months old or 10 months old. But I think I'll dress up like a grandpa.
There you go.
Yeah, I could just wear my normal clothes. The other thing I was going to say about what's going on right now is that when Seattle United was formed, it wasn't formed to win state championships and win national championships and win regional championships, although that's a nice thing to do, and we all strive for that. We were brought together in Seattle to be a ground-up place to play, whether it's recreational, which SYSA does a great job, whether it's regional, which is in the North Puget Sound League, or it's the top league, the Premier League, the RCL, or the ECNL. You don't have to train all the time to play at Seattle United, contrary to popular belief. And some people say that if you miss a training, you don't get to play games, or, we train 15 times a week and you have to do all this extra stuff. We have a level that could entice anybody. I don't expect all of our kids to bang the ball against the wall all day. I expect our kids maybe want to play basketball, baseball. Some of our kids are very good lacrosse players. I think there's a place for all of that. I do believe as you go on, unless you're Bo Jackson or something, that most kids, as to their mid-teens, start focusing on one thing. If you're a good enough athlete to be great at everything, that's fantastic. We had a young man that was a baseball player, a star football player. He was I think a baseball player. I think he's signed now from.
He signed with the Atlanta Braves, my favorite team.
Yeah, he signed.
I'm still waiting for that.
The Atlanta Braves
signed jersey there, Jesse Franklin. That's to you.
Yeah, Jesse Franklin. I mean, he could do everything. Yeah. I mean, we have another young lad that played on. We had another young lad that played on the 0-0 team that played center back. That I think's a member of the Arizona Cardinals or Arizona Diamondbacks.
I believe
Arizona Diamondbacks. He's a pitcher from Lakeside. So, as you get older, and he dropped off the team at 14, 15 to focus on baseball, which I understand. But as a young athlete, I think you should play everything. It's good for the dexterity. It's good for, basketball, baseball. They all bring different things. I think baseball is a great game for hand-eye coordination. When a pop fly comes out and you judge where it is, how often have you seen kids jump for head balls and it's 40 yards over their head? I mean, it's like jumping for a baseball that's, 60 yards away from, I don't know if you think you're Michael Jordan or what, but I think those kind of games like baseball give you that dimension and that, there's a lot of things that these other sports teach you. If you're going to be a center back, you need to be good in the air. You better be able to judge a ball coming out of the air. Baseball can teach you that. Basketball, the hand-eye coordination, the movement is very similar to what you'd see in soccer. So there's nothing swimming for the physical strength.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing out there that's athletic that would hurt you as a young player. So we don't have to, be just totally focused on soccer from the time you're 7 years old. Some of our kids are great track runners. Come to mind August and Smith Hunter and the there's a brother,
Keith and Little
Keith,
Mac.
Keith and Little Mac. I mean, they run track. Everybody has different things, you know. So, you know, just come out and give it a go. It doesn't have to be your whole life, but if it is your whole life, that's fine too. We have those places for those kids. So we kind of are a club that has a lot of different dimension to it. Unlike, you know, some of the clubs just focus on their premier side and that's what they want to do, you know, and we don't do that. So
and I'd almost, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'd almost go out on a limb and say, you know, kids that are 12 and below, 13 and below, probably should be playing more than just one sport. You should be experimenting, no matter how long you play, but you should at least try another sport, especially when you're 7, 8, 9 years old.
Oh, absolutely.
Get out there, play lacrosse, play basketball. You don't have to do it at high level, but playing in some sort of recreational league in those sports. I know I encourage my kids are swimmers. My wife swam and dove in college. So my kids are swimmers, as well as one of them plays soccer, one of them plays basketball. The other two are a little bit young for it, but they will play multiple sports because they need to at least experience that and then decide what it is they like, not just, hey, I'm playing this one sport and that's what I should be doing.
You know, I 100%. And it's, as parents, it's our duty to do the best to try to get them to as many experiences as they can have and let them make up their own mind. I will say that as a father and as a grandfather, those early baseball games are a little bit tough out there in the cold. When it's 10-0, 10-10, 20-10, 20-20, and it's freezing out. And your kid gets up every 4 hours, and it can be a snoozer. But that's that's what you're supposed to do as a parent. You know, there's got to be some suffering to this, you know.
Yeah.
So it gets a little bit, I wasn't, my wife loved baseball, and not a huge fan of that, but everybody's got their own thing and they should experience all different things, you know?
You know what I've seen, and I think Rich, actually, he's got these for his kids. I think it's a great little social distancing thing, and maybe this will be something that comes out in the future. Maybe the business will boom, is these little pods, these little enclosed, like kind of plastic pods that you can go in. And we'll just set up a bunch of pods, like little cocoons on the sidelines. Everybody can stay socially distanced that way, and there you go. But those,
you know, I saw that. I saw that actually, and this is something else I've become kind of big time fan of, is the Shark Tank. I saw that on the Shark Tank. They were selling those bubbles, and they had a little bit of a high evaluation on the deal, and Cuban ripped them a bit. But I think Cuban eventually came on to be the partner, so he's the man in the bubble, Mark Cuban. And
I'll tell you what.
So you'd never think that I'd be a huge. Yeah, you never think I'd be a huge Shark Tank fan, but I do kind of like the Shark Tank and watch that. So, you know, try to round myself with my cooking and all that kind of stuff.
Like I said, a Renaissance man.
Thank you. You know, it took this many years, 63 years, for me to decide that I'm going to try to help out and help my wife with the cooking and make smoothies and be available. That's what I want to do. You know, you can't go to every training and you're not out every night. And the weekends are kind of tough without soccer, because I used to get to go to the games and watch our little guys in Jefferson all the time. And there's not as many games out there for me. So, you know, I work on my cooking and my house stuff, and, you know, it's pretty good. You know, I'm available to come to anybody's home and make them a smoothie. I'll probably deliver. You know, it's a pretty cool thing. I might do that for the auction. Bring smoothies, whatever type flavor you want.
Yeah. I'm a fan of the strawberry banana. I am. Maybe a little orange.
I do. I put a banana in there, and orange mango I haven't tried yet, because I think oranges are out of season. I'm not too sure, but I think they're out of season. So I go with the mixed berries, a medley of mixed berry.
Medley.
Medley, and Zoe yogurt. Zoe yogurt. Hey, you know what? As well, the coconut water. I can tell you that type I use. Pretty little bit of orange juice for acidity, because I like a little bit of acidity. I think Guy Fieri is going to come by my house and see how I do it.
You know, diners, drive-ins, and whatever else he calls it.
Well, I've got a dive here at my house. I'm good. This is a dive. Look around.
Yeah.
So anyway, I live kind of in White Center, and it's not the greatest, but it's all good, you know. Smoothieville.
There you go. Well, any closing thoughts for everybody for this week we're coming into and what to look forward to?
Well, with the numbers, I think they're high, and we can look at the dasher board, and all of us can look at that. We're going to try to follow it. Trust me, we're aware that the numbers are arbitrary.
Sure.
We've tried to change the numbers, but you know what? Our number one priority is to try to be as safe as possible, and that's what we have to do. We'll do the right things. We've worked very, very hard with Parks to even get the opportunity to be out there and do what we're doing right now. So we'll carry on and make the best of it until something changes.
Yeah, great. Well, thanks for joining us, everyone. We will see you next week.